welcome to our Morning Throners podcast.
I'm Nelson.
I'm Jeff.
I'm Bo.
And I'm Kyle.
We're the fucking Morning Throners.
All right, welcome back to another episode of your favorite Song of Ice and Fire podcast. We're the Morning Throners. Make sure to follow us on Discord so you can chat with us and just interact and have some fun. We got John 4 on deck, boys.
John 4. We haven't seen John in a while.
Yeah, I forgot he was a fucking character. Been a while here.
How many pods since, Nels? Do you have that number?
There's been, I don't know. I can check real quick.
I mean, it's been at least a month since.
I'd say at least 10, maybe.
You think 10?
I mean, we've had 2 cats, a Sansa, 2 Tyrions, I'd say.
Going back in order, we had Cat, Sansa, Cat, Arya, Tyrion, Bran, Dany, Arya, Tyrion, Theon, John.
That's
yeah,
a
so
lot.
it's been like 2 months.
This is 34, and the last John was 23. So yeah,
Yikes.
11.
It is a quick one. We shouldn't have a lot of it's just like chronological, like, all right, this happened next, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's the big things at the end. Kyle, what'd you think?
Well, I mean, I thought the pretty obvious things here. Like, first off, I thought the whole time they were about to get, at the very least, dead Benjen or whatever you want to call him was going to come and attack him, right? Like, that was kind of like
White Walker
were-
Benjen.
Yeah. They were even like Mormont kind of was like, they had that discussion partway through that even amplified it more. He's getting these weird feelings, and like it just seemed like that it was building to that.
Yeah, there's something foreshadowy, spooky about this place for sure. With like none of the animals seem to like it. Everybody's talking about like dead people the whole time. Daiwood
It
says
is the
smells
haunted
cold.
forest.
We're jumping all over. Yeah,
Smells
haunted
cold.
forest. Yeah.
All right, so big deal. They reached the first men. That's where we're at. That's where we're starting.
Not the first men, the fist of the
Oh,
first
I'm sorry,
men.
fist of the first men.
Yes.
But first sip of whiskey got me.
Yes. So what is the fist of the first men?
It's just a fucking crag, right? Like a mountain, kind of.
Yes.
Not quite.
A natural ring fort. It's something that they've built up into.
No, I think it was a hill that they put a ring fort on top of.
Yeah.
They built some
That's
rocks
what I
around.
kind of meant. Was that it was a natural deal that they built
Little
up into a nice
Stonehenge
little.
up top.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Defensive
chapter starts with John
position.
basically coming out of the woods with everybody else, like walking, and they see this thing the first time, and John thinks it does look like a fist.
Which is the second time we get a fist thrust into the sky.
What was the first one?
Storm's End.
Storm's End, that's right. Yeah,
Mm.
the inner castle, Storm's End.
Forgot about that. That was just last fucking chapter too.
3 chapters.
No,
Probably
it's-
the first.
Was it 2 chapters?
Not the first cap, but the first of
Uh,
those 2.
Oh, when they met in the field. Yeah.
So when they're climbing up, I kind of mentioned it, like Ghost does not seem to like this place. Like he runs down the hill twice, John whistles for him, he comes back, and the third time Gior's just like, we gotta leave him, it's getting too dark, we gotta get there before dusk. So he just lets Ghost run off.
I mean, just think if you're Ghost real quick. Like, okay, what am I gonna do on this fucking hill? I'm bored as fuck. Like, I ain't going up there.
Yeah, I don't know, but John seems to think
I
something's
don't-
up
I
with
mean,
it.
I think you're.
I
Giving,
think John's just scared. John's just scared.
I was gonna say, I think you're giving Ghost too much credit there.
No, I think Ghost is.
Like,
Super
man, they don't
smart.
got any games up there.
Yeah.
The internet
He
sucks.
could just like, nope, nothing for up there for me to eat. I'm going out.
Yeah,
This
he's
is-
hungry.
definitely could.
Yeah, but later John says he's sniffing like he's not looking for food.
No, he's freaked out. I don't think he's.
Well, yeah, I mean, they definitely show that later on that he was a little skeeved too, or something.
Yeah,
But
so Mormont and Smallwood are basically talking about like this location, and they're like, well, we're at the top of this hill. There used to be a ring fort, and like they describe it, there's kind of like this like waist high walls
Chest
that goes the whole way around in most places. It's kind of running past a river.
the Milkwater River. You know, it would be cool, Nels. I don't want to give you any more work, but if you like went into Westeros Craft and like did a little screen grab and put it on Discord.
So I do have a map for this one. I let me see. There we go. So they're at the fist of the first bed. See where it says that right there?
Is that right in the middle?
Right in the middle, pretty
there?
much. Yep.
In the woods.
Crasser's Keep is the other thing that's marked on here, and so is White Tree. So basically, all the stops that we've had in all the John chapters so far are the marks on this map. And
Cool.
the thing is, they're right next to this. They talk about it later on. So, like, I might put this map in the Discord twice, or in the YouTube video twice.
So they went pretty far since the last one.
Yeah, it's been a while. This is John. So John's last chapter is the second latest chapter that we've read so far, and this chapter's the latest, right? So timeline wise, nothing that we've read has happened before John gets to Crasser's Keep. That all happens before John gets to Crasser's Keep.
I got you. This is the most current,
Yes,
essentially.
I guess, yeah.
The latest.
Latest,
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, so that's what they are. That's what they are, and they start talking about it later. And basically, what they're talking about later is how these Frostfang Mountains up on the left side, and the Milkwater, which is this river that they're basically right next to, and I think they can see it from where they're at, which is running like north south, basically. That's what they're talking about. It's like those are the landmarks that they start talking about later. So I might put this map in the YouTube video twice if we start talking about it when we get to that point, but just so you three can see it now.
All right. So what did you just leave off? This is where they are?
Yeah, they got up top. There's a ring fort.
Yep.
Chest high wall. Broken stones.
So it's a nice little safety spot. Like they can look out. They can, be together, camp, clean
Like I
ground,
said
strong
before,
high ground.
It's obviously defensible. Yeah, it's got walls.
You always want the high ground. That's the key.
Yeah, and Mormont basically says they're going to stay here and wait for somebody.
Core and half hand.
Core and half hand. They mentioned him a few times. They basically just keep saying that they're going to wait for him.
He's from the Shadow Tower, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Or
Yep.
Shadow Tower, yeah. Is anyone coming from Eastwatch, or are they just chilling there?
So again, like the way that, I just put the map away, but where that map was, the river's kind of going northwest. So the Shadow Tower's to the west. So these guys are kind of the closer ones, I guess, out of the towers.
I think they said they needed the East Tower to watch the sea as well, right? And there's a lot of holes there, too.
Yeah, and the West Tower is basically where the wall meets the mountains. The wall doesn't go coast to coast. It goes to this huge mountain range. And that's where the Shadow Tower is. It's right at the edge of the wall and where the mountains start.
Old Bear's not moving as well as he used to either.
Struggling a bit.
Signs of age. Yeah.
Can't keep up with the young folk.
Raven,
He doesn't want to admit it.
What else?
I was going to say that Raven yells old at one point. Thor and Smallwood saying it's an old, strong place. And the Raven's like, old. So he's got his Raven with him. But yeah, he's
Just making fun of him.
what John kind of related to what you guys were saying then. He's like, John knows that he's not keeping up with the young Rangers as well as he should be. And then, they're talking about easy to defend. John's like, what about water? That's going to be a problem. Because we're on top of this big ass hill, and Mormont's like, it's not gonna be a problem for me. I'm gonna send everybody else to get my water back.
What about Thorin? Is he just like not like John? I forget that relationship. He just seems like
easy to climb a hill, boy.
Doesn't like him.
Thorin was the guy who was like, when they were at the beginning, at the first John chapter, he was in there like, my Rangers, let me do this with my Rangers. And Mormont's like, no one is in charge of the Rangers. Benjamin Stark's still first Ranger until blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Because this guy's basically
so
like, now that
he doesn't
Riker's
like
dead.
him just because he's crying. Yeah, because he's crying about Benjamin.
Yeah, kind of. It's like, I'm sure that's part of it. And it seems like a lot of
Mhm.
people just don't like John. Just because he's kind of like
But so they start to set up camp.
Yep.
Everybody seems okay with except John.
Mormont says they're going to dig cisterns. Is that just like a big pit in the ground to hold water? Is what I'm
I
guessing.
guess so.
Yeah.
I
A
didn't
cistern
Google
is
that
like
one.
a water retention device.
Okay.
But they got to
That's
do
what I
everything.
guessed.
They're building shitholes too. Don't get it mixed up. Don't take your mug to the shithole instead of the water hole.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that'd be fucked up.
They're also going to start getting firewood because they're going to be running fires all night long. It's going to be cold as shit out here on the top of this hill.
You would think too. You'd kind of like want to cut around the ring for it, like cut some shit back so you can see.
Yeah.
Just like they did the wall, right?
Yeah.
I mean, in essence, you'd want to.
Open up sight lines.
I'm sure, like, if this was a camp where you, like, lived full time, I'm sure they would be doing that, yeah.
So then John tends to the tent for Lord Commander and the two horses, and he goes out to find his dog.
Yep.
The
Ghost pops out of
dude.
nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, just a weirdo.
Well, no, doesn't Samuel come hang out with him for a
No,
little bit?
Not
After
yet.
this,
That's
just
next.
coming.
I mean, Ghost. He's just like riding through the woods, and then like all of a sudden, here comes Ghost, just running along with him.
Yeah, John, like, basically just goes and stands up, tries to look for him. Ghost does run up to him for a second, and John, like, grabs him, tries to drag him in.
Oh,
And they
that's
talk about,
right.
like, by now, Ghost is as big as John, like, weighs as much as John, and is definitely stronger.
Just
So
way
John,
stronger.
yeah, John's like, yeah, I didn't stand a chance, so I just had to let him go. He runs off again.
This is when we get the first time John starts thinking about, is it safe here too? Like,
Well, yeah,
is the
because he's
hunting-
like, he's thinking, like, Ghost does not like this. That's what he's like. He's not
Yeah.
like he's just trying to go hunt. There's something about this that's weird.
And the next part is when they kind of explain where we're at too,
Yep.
geographically.
Yeah, so kind of like with the thing, there's the hill they're on is really steep to the south side and to the west side, and it's only a little bit better on the east. So the north side's kind of like the only way to get up this hill, it seems like, unless you're like climbing.
Yeah, they're wrong. Very good. North and west are steep.
Nope, south and west.
The slopes were precipitous to the north and west, and only slightly more gentle to the east.
Yeah, Nelson, read better.
It's not how it is in Western
And south is like the fallen rock spot, right? That's why they had to walk around to the east side to climb it.
In Westeros Craft, it's shallow to the north, but I don't know.
Well, Maybe the compass is wrong.
Is there a compass on fucking?
Yeah, in Minecraft.
Yeah. All right. And after that, he just kind of mentions again, like, as he's looking down at all the, because the south is like a lot of trees, right? And the Frostfangs are up north. Anything could be running around under the canopy of those trees.
Yeah.
It's like so dense and thick that they have no clue. Ghost isn't alone down there.
There's some wildlings and others with ghosts down there.
Yeah, so he's thinking all this shit basically to himself, pretty much what Glow's saying, even though he doesn't like say it out loud or like think it like straight up. He's like, there's something weird going on. And he's like, I gotta stop acting like a little boy. And the sun starts setting and there's the river flowing. And then that's when Sam walks up, right?
Yeah. Quick convo. Quick little, how you doing, bruh?
How'd you fare today? Sam was like, I actually fared well today.
Yeah, he's doing all right. It's coming into
John's
his own.
like, I'm not going to tell him that I'm fucking terrified right now because
Sam's actually doing all right.
I feel like
I'm the
he's
scared
actually
one.
brave.
I feel like this similar thought happened like last chapter too. Like John was like, everyone was pissed off and Sam was like, I think it's going to be okay. And John's like, wow, how is Sam the only one that's getting less afraid the further we get from the wall?
Yeah. He definitely
Definitely that thought
mentioned
happened before. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean,
yep.
is Sam just so oblivious that he's like,
I think it's also
he's like busy and like walking and tired and hungry that he's like forgot to be afraid?
I mean, I had a coach one time when I threw javelin. We had this one kid who threw javelin. He was like so bad. Like literally, he would throw it and it would just like do a flip. You know, javelin's not supposed to flip when it flies.
Mhm.
It would go like 5 feet, and like he finally got the thing like flying right. He wasn't throwing it far. But it was going like 20 feet maybe, but it was flying right. And the coach was like, "It's a million times better, but you got to remember where you started. You were beyond horrible." So it's just like Sam was so afraid to begin with that there was only one way to go, and that was to be less afraid. You know, Sam was so terrified to begin with, like you could only get more courageous from there.
True. All right. So they have there was a little mention of the comet here. We just haven't heard it in a little bit.
Dude, yeah, and like I said earlier, this is the latest chapter.
Yeah.
Like this is 7 months, I think, after the first sighting of the comet.
I stupidly forgot that Mormont's torch was the comet until right now. I was going to say that they didn't mention the comet.
Yeah, Mormont's torch is the nickname.
Yeah.
That's
No,
why
you're right,
for
yeah.
the comet. Yep. So it's like I thought that too. Like holy crap, that's thing's been on air
What's
for a
going
while.
on with the comet, man? Like, why is it so long?
7 months. I mean, the thing is that there's no light pollution out at the Fist of the First Men. There's none of the light pollution you have in King's Landing with all the lamps and torches and candles all over the place.
So much carbon
We
dioxide.
don't get freaking comets that last. Whatever it is
Yeah, I
called, Earthos is got to be huge.
Just
And
a
this comet's gotta be
huge planet.
huge.
There you go.
And yeah,
Earthos.
it's probably like huge but far away too, so it's moving slower in through the sky. You know?
Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go. Yeah, that makes sense.
Well,
But, like,
it's
it has
gotta
to be
have
massive.
huge
It's a perspective
atmosphere if
thing,
it's
yeah.
still fucking doing that though.
Yeah.
I don't
It
think
can't be in the
comets take
atmosphere,
light,
right?
just-
Well, I guess
Maybe
it has
it's
to be
a
if it's a
flat-
comet. Yeah.
Maybe it's a flatland.
What's
Flatland.
Oh, Kyle, real quick. The planet is called Planetos. I forgot to mention that. I said Earthos. I
Yeah,
just
it's
forgot
not
that
Earthos.
for a
I
second.
feel like we had this discussion before and we made fun of it, or I made fun of it.
Yeah, it's pretty dumb.
But what were you saying, Nelson? It's in the atmosphere? I don't think it has to be in the atmosphere.
Well, where's the tail come from?
Yeah, the tail
Through
has to.
Space? No, because they circle around. They don't come through the atmosphere always.
Well, the
You
only
see
reason it
'em.
makes a tail is because of the friction of atmospheres.
No, it's like the burning of ice coming off of it from the speed, probably. I don't know.
There's
I don't know, but
there's
there's
not in a vacuum. What is
in a
speed matter in a vacuum?
There's
There's
no
no
friction
friction.
to cause that.
There is
Maybe
no
just the
way
sun hitting
that
it?
every comet goes through the atmosphere. 0% chance.
What you're saying sounds right, Kyle. But what Glow's saying also sounds right. So there's got
Well,
to be
there's
something
got to
that I
be.
don't- yeah,
There's like a ton of atmospheres, right? I mean,
What?
No.
Well, I mean, there
That's
are.
why-
You're talking about like
There's other
troposphere.
planets.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
but
but
it's
they don't
not.
all have atmospheres,
Then the
man.
tail
That's
would
why
pop on
Earth
and
is
off,
special.
and it would pop on and off, and
I
it
don't know.
would
I'll
be
have to
really
do some-
rare.
I'll have to do
past
some
another
Googling.
one.
Venus has an atmosphere. Mars has a weak one.
Yeah,
Earth
they're like
is fake, or the space is fake anyway. It's all
I mean,
just
a
like
projection.
Saturn and Jupiter,
Yeah.
Uranus,
Yeah.
and Neptune all have atmospheres.
I'm in the Kyrie Irving school of space.
I wouldn't
Flat
put it
Earth.
past you. If anybody in this group is going to believe it, it's you.
Nah,
What, flat Earth?
I've seen the
Yeah.
stars. I've taken a class or two.
Kyle, can you do me a quick favor? Can you look up why comets have tails?
All right, we'll keep going. So John heads back to Mormont's tent, and when he gets back in, Smallwood and
Well, they go see
7
the
other
Ravens. Hold on, real
officers
quick.
are
They
there.
go see the Ravens, and the Ravens are also freaking out.
But they're calling John's name. They know John's name.
John.
I'm just saying, like, they're freaking out. Like, I think it has to do with, like, the hill.
Well,
Kinda
right.
like
I think it gets to, like, John being scared,
don't like
too.
the hill.
It's
It's
just
kind
they're
of what I was
calling
thinking.
John's name. It's weird.
Yeah.
I
All right.
wanna
So
say
after that
Sam's
happens, he's like, I got to get back.
Yeah.
And he gets back to the tent. Mormont is like, boy, make me some hot wine.
My favorite wine.
Now.
But not boiled wine.
Don't boil it. No
And
lemons.
No fucking lemon.
Even though he likes lemon in his beers.
Just enough spice.
He
Just
likes the
this,
line
just
and
that,
kugels,
just a little
not
bit
the-
of, just a pinch, just a dash. He knows how he likes it. John has learned
just
by
not
now.
the wine and kugels.
Yeah, John makes a good hot wine.
Yep. John probably knows that he gets the leftovers, right? John takes the dregs back and finishes them up at his camp later on. He probably knows that.
Yeah, it's not a bad gig.
I want to make this wine extra special because I'm going to be drinking it too. Yeah, exactly.
Little quid pro quo. Make the wine and you can have the leftover.
Exactly. Make it good that way. For that reason.
But he's overhearing the officers talk about like how they should travel to get to the wildlings next, and there's 3 pathways that they could take.
Well, John Buckwell's saying they should go. The easiest road would just be right. So the goal is like getting to the Frost Fangs because that's I guess where.
That's where they're camping, right?
Well, that's I guess what
meeting.
The wildlings are gathering.
That's what Craster told him, right? Yeah. So
Yeah.
Buckwell's like the easiest way to get into there would be to go through go right up on the river, like we saw on the map, go right up that river. But if we go that way, they're gonna see us for sure, just because it's like obvious. It's like cleared out right along the pass. Maldor Locke's like we could do the Giant Stair or the Skrilling Pass, which we don't really know what they are, but they just seem like more dangerous routes into the mountain.
I mean, Giant Stair sounds like you're climbing the fucking mountain.
Skrilling Pass
Yeah.
doesn't sound great either.
The pass sounds like the pass from Lord of the Rings, where they're like,
Or like
just
300.
freezing and
Yeah.
miserable blizzard conditions the entire time. Like if it's
Hey.
clear, we might be able to go that way.
Walk through these 2 mountains and just get shot down on by everybody.
So then John comes in with the wine. The Raven yells, "Corn, corn, corn!" Sir Otten Withered doesn't want any wine. He's like, we shouldn't just go there. We should just. It's like go to the mountains is a bad idea. It's got a cruel bite in the summer, and now like if a storm came, it would be bad. Like he doesn't say it, but just lots of dots implies it. Mormon's like, we're not going to the mountains unless we have to.
We're staying right fucking here.
They can't live there any longer than we can. It's just as bad for them as us. We're just gonna chill.
You telling me you can't live off of snow?
So
Sucks.
is their plan right now just to hang out at the fucking
Yes.
Fist of the First Men
Yes.
for the extended period of time?
Till winter.
At least till
Till
Corin
winter,
gets
right?
there.
Or
Oh wow! Now we have 100 more people. Now let's go fucking battle.
Exactly.
I think and I mean, he even kind of explains it here. It's easier for one person to find a whole group of people that are stationary, burning fires all the time and stuff. Like if Benjamin's out there, he's going to see this.
I mean, and if so, like, let's just do a quick little like rundown of this battle because it sounds like Mormont's like, no, we'll be fine. Like, we'll be up here. We have the good defense. The wildlings could just come down, surround them, and then fucking do what they do at every castle, right? And just fucking wait them out as well.
Siege. Which is
Yeah,
why John was worried about the water. Not so much the going up and down. He was worried, like, what if we have to defend this place? We're stuck up here for days, and we have zero source of water.
I think that's also what Mormont was thinking with the cisterns, because it doesn't seem like they're going to be little cisterns for a night or two, because there's a river right there. He
It's
said,
still very. It's a problem, right? It's an impending problem.
what
that's all I'm
Mormont said about the cisterns is it'll keep the men busy, which makes me think like, okay, once we have this thing fortified, all we're gonna do is dig this fucking hole deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. Just make our water supply like.
But once
we're
you
gonna need
put water
something
in it,
idle hands,
how do
right?
you
So
dig it deeper?
I don't know. You make another one and then you transfer water. I don't know. You figure it out. And you're like, again, you're on a hill. So like, how much can you eventually do? Like, really do? And if it freezes, I don't know how that works.
Probably
but-
rocky.
Yeah. Well, you freeze it. So you make a cistern, you freeze it, and you take it out and you store the ice, and then you have a way to melt that into water later. Genius. I should be Lord Commander. I think that Mormont is not unaware of the of this dilemma that you guys are bringing up, though.
Just make a big old fucking igloo.
Yeah, on top of the entire fist. Yeah. Basically, he's like, so the one thing I want to point out is like, what was the goal of this ranging? Like when they left Castle Black,
Benjamin.
I think, and Benjamin was definitely a main part, but I think also it was
It
just
was like, what are these
figure out what the
wildlings doing?
wildlings are
Like,
doing.
why is everyone leaving the camp, right?
yeah, like they had heard that like 1 or 2 camps were empty, I think, or something like that. And they're like, okay, we need to figure out what's going on. And just like the dead people came back to life, they're like, we need to get a little bit of info and find Benjen and hopefully find out if Benjen has info. But like those two things.
Yeah.
They're basically going on a ranging.
A big ranging. Exactly. But it's just like, kind of like what you're saying, like, what's the point now? Like, did they find out enough information? Or is their plan just to wait and hope that Benjen gets there before wildlings? Like, what's the plan? You know?
Corin, hopefully Corin has some info for him.
Corin could have found something on the way. Yeah.
I think it's Benjen. I think that's still priority number one.
Benji.
I think Mormont really liked him. It seems like, at least.
Yeah. So let's keep going then. So basically, they're
Does
going to be
everyone
strengthening
leave? Where are we
defense.
at?
No, they're going to be strengthening defenses. Buckwell, he starts giving commands. He's like, Buckwell, you got to have some lookouts. Put them on like the best ones along the ring, and then also hide people in the trees along the river. Talk about the water supply. And Thorin starts asking about the Rangers. In moments like they're supposed to be limited to this side of the river only.
Don't send them too far.
And when Corin gets there, then they'll see about going further. So I just wanted to get to this point for what Kyle was saying. If it's about finding Benjen, kind of counterintuitive, right? I mean, he talks about it later. It's easier to find one person.
No, we learn out next that that's actually really stupid.
But even if they're trying to find Benjen, like they're still in one spot. How far can this place be seen? A couple 5 miles, maybe. So you're covering what?
No,
a radius of 5 miles.
He's quoted that you can see it from the fucking on this hill. Our fires ought to be visible as far off as the foothills of the Frostfangs.
So Benjen's in the Frostfangs. In the front, well, that's because they're on a mountain, and these guys are high above the trees.
It says foothills of it.
I'm just saying, like,
it's
he's
far.
not on the peak
You're
of the
gonna be able to see it
highest.
from far. There's no other light source out here.
It's a huge forest, though. Unless you're on an elevated surface, you wouldn't be able to see it. And that's why, like, the Frostfangs.
No, I mean, there's still gonna be a glow. If it's pitch black and then you have 200 plus campfires or whatever you have, there's just gonna be like an aura at that spot. I mean,
not for more than like 5 miles, dude. Not in the woods.
And tracks. I mean, like, you're gonna see 200 people
I'm
walk
saying,
through a
this
forest.
This is a huge haunted forest, and they're literally like covering
but
one
also
direction.
but also to the bears, it's a huge fucking piece of land. Like,
and Craster said he didn't see Benjen, right? So at this point, not only are you looking in a place where it's probably unlikely because like this is just in a line. If you follow the line from the Castle Black through Craster's, you get to the Fist of the First Men. And, and apparently Benjen didn't take that line is the most intel we know. We're just going to set up camp there and hope he sees us. Like
maybe he got a different lead, so he's off anywhere else
maybe he's scouting out the Frostfangs hideout where all these people are.
Maybe the others got him right away.
Well, I think what Kyle's saying is what they're relying on, right? Because I think you guys are right. This place is visible from the Frostfangs because it's elevated. I don't think it's necessarily visible from that far away if you're just in the forest.
I think it's still visible from far away. Not here or there. I don't think that's an argument that we need to have.
I don't know. We're going to have to go into the pitch black and someone
like I said, there's literally no other light
source
up here. I think that's going to be pretty evident.
Even if it's 20 miles in any direction, you can see this place. That is not covering that's covering 1% of the north above the wall.
And just one more thing, and then we'll move on.
One
more thing, we'll move on. Benjen also is the best ranger, or at least he was the first ranger, so he knows like spots, right?
Yes,
I'm sure they have like Fist of the First Man. Yeah. So
this is the New York City of the north. Yeah, sure.
Right. So. All right, moving on. So they get their supplies ready. Smallwood leaves a little bit mad that the Rangers are being kept close, and this is when we get the little bit of the John and Mormont talk about what we just went over. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
So
that's kind of why I got to this point. Yep.
He's like, "Hey, so what do you think about me keeping the Rangers close?" And it's definitely a test for Glow's boy. How do you think he did?
I mean, at first he was like, being a little selfish, like, "Well, how are you gonna find Benji if we can't send him out?
I need my uncle back."
Mormont had to be like, "Think about it."
Yeah, exactly.
Eamon thinks you're smart. Don't prove him wrong.
He's like, well, yeah, like you said, like it's easy for one man to find 200 versus 200 to find one man, blah, blah, blah. And we're in a good position to hold off shit, but what are we going to do? Blah, blah, blah.
But this is also where he goes into but what if...
Oh, yeah, what if he's dead? That's right. He's like, well, maybe he'll come back like, what was I forget the guy's name.
Jaffer Flowers.
At some point, I mean, has he even thought about it? Like, man, maybe my uncle is dead. Like, come on, John. This had to.
And Jeff, I think he has thought of that. I mean, people have said it to his face before. He's definitely thought about it, but he's just like.
He just like hasn't even. I don't know. He's been like, he's not dead. I feel him. I don't know.
I feel like John's more on the he's alive. I know at camp but he's no stranger to the idea that he's dead. The birds yelling dead here. Dead.
He's
Bird's
going
being a
nuts.
dick this chapter.
Yeah. Calling him old, dead.
Well, he wasn't calling him old, but
He
I mean,
was
he
saying
definitely
old, they
interpreted it as him
related,
calling him old kind of thing.
Mormont says he's gonna skip dinner and just go right to bed.
Yep. And John takes it back to his camp, heats up a little wine.
Well, John was hungry, so
he grabs
he's
some
like,
food.
"Fine,
He goes to get
the
food.
boys.
Yeah.
My favorite
Yep.
crew in the whole books right here.
Old man Wood Teeth Dylin,
Tywin.
Gren, and Dolores said.
Yep. And
Hell of a
Hank,
crew.
who I guess is the cook here because they're making fun of that.
Yeah.
Ed's making fun of the food,
Smells like shit.
Dylan gets a smell, yeah.
saying it's cold.
Yeah.
They said the same thing about Craster. Somebody said something about Craster smelling cold. They definitely said that because I just remember thinking like there was another chapter in between here and there where somebody said something weird smelled something that like you can't really smell. And I was like, this is weird. They're saying this a lot. So I don't know. I just remember that it keeps coming up. So he says they smell cold. It smells cold. They're like, you can't smell it. You can't smell the cold. And
But John did smell it.
and Ed's like, all I can smell is shit and the shit of 100 horses in this stew. And now that I think of it, this stew basically smells the same as the shit of 100 horses or whatever. And Hank just like pats his Dirk, which makes me think that he's the one that I cooked the stew. John has some. Gren is looking a little nervous about what Dywin was saying.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Dywin doesn't have his teeth in his mouth, right? He took him out to eat.
Well, he's got to eat. I mean, come on.
Don't want to get him that wet.
Soft stew.
Or wood. Well, then at this point, John comes to the realization. He's like, it kind of does smell like those two assholes that broke into the one asshole, I guess. But
Because Hake's telling him there's no smell to cold, and John's like, yes, there is. I smelled it the night that they came for Lord Commander.
yeah, it smells like death.
Smells like death.
Yep. And he's like, I'm not that hungry anymore. And he gives his suit to Gren because he looks like he needs it. So yeah, then that's where John goes to get the wine. Goes back to his camp, gets a little fire going, heats up his wine,
And
plays
then
with his
Ghost-
fingers, his
Ghosty
fucked up
comes.
fingers, and Ghost shows up. Yep.
It's weird that he plays with his fingers until what's the word? He has a tingle or
Yeah.
like.
So you can feel him again.
Tingling.
No, so you remember when you
Or-
fell out of bed and you had a tingling in your toes
Yeah,
for
not good.
like 2 years?
Yeah. Dude, my mom does this thing where she just texts me Game of Thrones crossword puzzle questions. This is gonna be an easy one. Actress from Game of Thrones who plays Ki Rar, a human who grew up with Han Solo in Solo, a Star Wars story. Easy.
Well, that's not her name, so
actress from
Kiara.
Game of Thrones.
it's
Kiara.
Amelia Clark. But
Amelia Clara. What's her name in Star Wars? Clark?
Daenerys.
No, Kiara is in the Star Wars movie. What's her name in the Star Wars movie?
it's
Kiara.
Kiara. What are you
Okay.
talking about?
Then why'd you say that's not her name?
You said like
I never said that wasn't
you were
her
like
name.
Qui era. You said it like really fucking weird.
I gotta answer my mom. Amelia Clark.
She's just a big crossword puzzle gal.
I guess.
How about the Amelia Clark rumors of her being in Book of Boba, coming in with the
Lies.
red people, the Crimson Tide,
You're losing
not
me
the
further
Crimson
now.
Tide. What is it? The Crimson what? Crimson Tide is
Crimson
Alabama.
Dawn.
Crimson Dawn.
It's like, what the fuck are you talking
Roll Tide, baby.
about? You know who started Crimson Dawn?
Darth Maul.
Oh, what? How'd you know that? You didn't watch that
I mean,
show?
It kind of wasn't Solo, but
Oh, Maul was at the end. I forgot about that.
that would have been my guess. All right, so Ghost comes in, and
Because I got a
He's
big
red. They're all red.
eyes are red. He comes over.
Also, it's a new moon tonight.
No moon. Yeah, new moon.
New moon.
Twilight. Yeah.
I
new moon.
marked that down for the timeline.
Well, it's a
Just so
full
we know.
moon in real life.
But it's a new moon at
What?
John's night. Is it a full moon today?
I think tomorrow, but yeah.
Well, it doesn't even matter because these are like weeks from where they're going to come out, or a week or two.
Yeah, but they don't know that. No one checks the moon.
Now they'll know when it was recorded.
All right.
Ghost shows up.
And he's worried of the last time that he warned him of the dead, right? He's got the cold, dead smell feeling. He's scared. He's
Feels
remembering
scared.
the people attacking Mormont. And he's like, this might be happening again.
He
wants
said
me to
Ghost
follow
knew.
him.
Ghost knows something's fucked here.
Yeah. What's the matter, boys? Did somebody fall down a well?
So,
Also,
I mean-
right before Ghost shows up, a bunch of wolves start howling. Like it says,
Yeah.
wolves
Yeah,
start
that's
howling in
pretty
the
cool.
distance. Red eyes appear.
Ghost
across
was
fire.
scared of just the other wolves.
Yeah, maybe Ghost,
Ghost
just
is
got
a pussy.
bitched out. Maybe Ghost just got bitched out in the woods by some real dire wolves who haven't been castle raised. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. So I'm
Ghost
I'm
isn't really
going.
castle raised though. I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
he's at the wall now. Like,
yeah,
I mean,
he
he's got
wasn't. He
some-
wasn't long at Winterfell for sure.
He's no What's the one in the woods still? Fuck. What's her? Nymeria?
Nymeria.
Yeah.
She's wild, yeah. She's a bitch ghost.
Or Shaggy Dog.
Yeah, Shaggy's just crazy.
Shaggy Dog's a domestic wild one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
he
Ghost-
is one wood.
Ghost is sniffing all over the place. He starts doing this thing where he's like jumping away from John and then jumping back. And John's like, oh, fuck, he
Like
wants me to
looking
fuck.
at him like,
Yeah, like, come on.
man, come
Head,
on.
winking, give him a head nod. Yeah. He's like, come on, John.
He's
so John
pulling a
gets up.
lassie.
Yeah, John gets
Yeah,
up.
there was even a
realizes
point where he's like,
follow.
yo, you dumb fuck, follow me. I can't believe we talked finally in this chapter.
Yeah.
But it happened.
Come on, little Timmy fell in the well. Follow me, dude.
Yep. So they go over. John starts following him. He's thinking about the smelling of the cold when Ghost is sniffing around. He follows him out. There's like a guy on the wall, and John's like, oh, I gotta go get water for the Lord Commander. And he's like, all right, go then. And the guy doesn't even like lift his cloak to like, because he's trying to stay shielded from the wind, so he doesn't even lift his cloak to see if John has a bucket. So they take off down the hill. Ghost runs wicked fast. John's a little bit slower
Wicked
because he
smart.
doesn't want to.
Which kind of is scary. Well, I
He
guess
could also
it's-
die or break an ankle,
Yeah.
like at any step.
Oh, yeah, going down the hill, definitely.
Yeah.
I was going to say, it's kind of weird that this dude that's supposed to be like one of the best watchmen on whatever his name's group is like, doesn't even notice he doesn't have a bucket, right? Like, I mean, I guess it's a little different because he's on your side already, but like,
It doesn't seem like he really cares. He's like,
Yeah,
all right,
he's
go
just like
fuck off.
Negligent.
his hood, you can't even see the dude. His eyes are covered.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't think about it. So we get down there. The forest is looking a little creepy. Basically, you can't see shit until he gets like right up on like the trees with his torches. He can hear like the sound of water. He sees like ghosts popping under a bush. So John like tries to chase after him, call him for him. He loses him for a little bit, I think.
Yeah,
And
he's just like
finds him
running
drinking
in
from a
directions.
stream. Yeah, and finds him drinking from the stream. And when he looks at him, he's like eyes are red. He's got this water dripping from his mouth. John is like, he looked fucking evil pretty much in that moment. And then he runs off. John tries to follow after him, call him for him, but he doesn't listen. So John's following, can't find him.
I feel like he like turns around too. I feel like Ghost like wrapped him.
At one point, he says like he's almost going back towards the fist of the first men, I think. And then even after that, he starts running after him and chases him like a quarter of the way around the entire fist. And then they finds him behind this log digging, basically. Just chase him all over the forest, finds him behind this log digging.
Which to me, it sounds like he's like pretty, like you said, pretty close to the fist, though, like right underneath it almost. So then he starts digging himself. He realizes, like, you know, something's here, obviously.
Oh, this is soft ground.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
soft, clean, you know, freshly replaced.
John thinks it's a grave. He's like, oh, fuck. But
I mean, what else would you think it is, right?
so he starts digging it anyway with Ghost.
And then he just fucking reaches in, which is like, dude saw somebody come back to life. He was like involved in the fight against it. And now
And
he's just like, you know, like reaching
Not
into this
afraid at
fresh
all.
grave.
yeah, after he touches cloth too, like he realizes it's cloth and then goes in it again. It's like, but he pulls it out and it's basically like a bunch of obsidian, dragon glass,
Dragon glass.
arrowheads,
Not weapons.
spearheads,
Weapons.
daggers, and a horn.
And a horn. A bronze horn.
With a bunch of arrowheads in it,
Yep.
which is
Yeah, with a
weird.
bunch of arrowheads.
And a Night's Watch cloak. Pretty not rotted, but wet. Damp
Fresh.
but not rotted.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those chapters that
chapter.
ends where like some stuff happened, but you're like, man, I wish more happened in the chapter.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the point, right? So you keep reading, but I'm not allowed to.
Well, you can read for how long until you run into fucking John again.
Yeah, exactly. I'll be way too far ahead then. Like, so I mean, obviously you're supposed to, and I agree with this as well, but I think you're supposed to think it's vengeance, right? Like
Makes
that's kind of
sense.
what they've been leading to the whole time here. But it's
He has a
weird
missing Night's Watch.
because like,
with a
why would he
cloak.
have this dragon glass? Like, there's no real explanation for that. And I mean, I'm just gonna talk. Please don't answer because I feel like anything you say is gonna give me spoilers to some degree. But like, why would he have this dragon glass? The horn, like we know they have these horns, right? I mean, you can answer that one, I guess. From on the wall, they've been blowing horns and
Yeah.
and shit like that.
Yeah, they have war
So I mean,
horns.
that's not that.
Horns aren't
that's
the
more-
only things they're blowing.
Yeah, it should be because it took
all
a
guys.
vow of celibacy, right?
Well, they just can't take wives. I never said anything about being.
That's true.
Yeah, Kyle, you
Taking-
look pretty
taking
good
husbands.
after 9 months on the wall. You know what I mean,
I thought they weren't allowed to
dude?
get married, though.
Wives and father children.
They'll father no
Okay.
children.
All right. Well,
If you're going loopholes, I guess.
whatever. Yeah, I mean, it's up to them.
Guys, just to let you know, we have like another 10 chapters until John again.
Yeah, I just looked too. I just looked too close. It looks like exactly 10.
But yeah, I mean, I guess it kind of plays into the fact that Mormont was kind of right here that and what Jeff said earlier about him knowing these hot spots or
Beacons.
locations,
Check marks.
landmarks, if that's what you said.
There you go,
Yeah.
landmark. That's a good
These
word.
landmark locations, like it points to the fact that he knows these things exist and that like somebody that was looking would come here. However, him hiding it like this is kind of weird too. It's like it's stashed for himself, or he was trying to bring it back to the wall, or like it's way more than he's going to use, obviously, right? Like it sounds like there's too much shit here and he has to make weapons out of it still. Like some of it's just glass, like arrowheads. Like you're not going to do anything with that. I don't know. I honestly don't know what to think about this one. Did he talk to the wildlings and they gave him this stuff to take home, or did he steal it from the wildlings? Is he stealing more? Is that where he's off doing? I mean, it had to have come from somewhere, right? Like,
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, we got a lot of mystery going on in the north,
Yeah.
and a long time till we're going to get any information about it. So
About 10 more chapters.
Sorry, Kyle.
we'll see you guys in the spoil section, and we'll see Kyle next week for Brand 5.
Brand 5.
little Braniel.
See you later, Cal.
Bye,
We miss you, bud.
Kyle.
Later, guys.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
See you later, Cal. It's great hanging out, bud. We'll see
Bye,
you on the next
Cal.
show for Brand 5. But now, on to the spoiler section of John 4. Boys, what are your hot takes for this sode? I actually have some notes in my brain for this one, boys.
That a boy.
Yeah, let's hit him.
Love that.
Hey, Glo, so I don't steal any from you.
No. You guys can steal them. All right, fine. First one. Why is Ghost afraid of the Fist of the First Men, boys?
Because it's gonna get attacked.
Yeah, but like they're not
Does
getting
he
attacked.
know that
tonight.
now? It gets
Like, why
attacked
is he
in like a
scared now?
month.
So I mean, a lot of what I'm gonna say is from this one theory by Preston Jacobs. I'm gonna put his videos.
You
in the,
and Preston Jacobs
You are
just
like
jerk
his-
each other off.
Are you paying? Is he paying you?
I like some of the stuff he says.
Is he paying
I'll
you?
put the videos in the thing. I've mentioned some of this theory before, but he's basically saying that like some actor is influencing Ghost and maybe other people to cause a bunch of stuff to happen. And it seems like in this string of videos that his theory is the thing that he wants to happen is he wants the Night's Watch to learn about Dragon Glass.
Who was trying to orchestrate this?
He just
Blood
like
Raven?
again, that's
Either
like
way,
Blood Raven.
Ghost is like he could still come chill for a bit and then go find the dragon glass. Why is he being a scared little bitch?
Yeah, whole scared little bitch boy.
So if the whole point is how do you make the Night's Watch find and then use the Dragon Glass, you have to put the Night's Watch in a spot where you know that the others are going to come through. And if Gilly's about to have a baby, the others are probably about to come to Crasher's Keep.
So they got to walk by the Fist of the First Man to get there.
They literally just said it, right? They're like, they said it in this chapter. If the wildlings come out of the Frostfangs, they have to come by this spot to go.
But the
there.
wildlings don't give a fuck about Gilly's baby. The others do.
So, but the principle holds.
The
If you
other- can't the
if
others
you're going
fucking-
from the north to the south through like along this route, you have to go by the spot. That's all I'm saying. Is the principle is the same. And later, Corrin tells John, you can't just go past them and just sneak around them to the east or west, because then what if they turn around and destroy you from behind? You don't want to leave them behind you. Like that's what again Corrin says it about the wildlings, but I think the same might apply for any sizable army, right? Any
Yeah. I mean, I guess we just don't know much about the others. Like, I mean, we know they're the undead. Like, what's killing them? Like, are they really that afraid of dying?
if you're trying to get the Night's Watch to learn how to use Dragon Glass, you put him on the Fist of the First Men, where the others, right before Gilly's about to have a baby, because then you're about to see the fucking others, and you give him Dragon Glass.
Sure.
Both those things happen in this chapter. They get there. Mormont stops here. We even said, why the fuck is he stopping here? Even if we're not talking about others, we're only talking about wildlings. We know they have thousands. He has tops 300. Glow even said it. Even when Corrin gets here, you only have 300. It's stupid as fuck to stop here. why the fuck do they stop here? Like, yeah, sure, it's a strong position in the north, but like, what are you going to accomplish when you do a 300 verse?
I mean, what are they accomplishing? What are they really accomplishing on this voyage anyway?
Period.
Nothing. Like, it's a pointless.
They learn what dragon glass is useful for.
When do they find out? Because
Sam does this.
Because Sam does that on his own, though.
So basically, the theory is saying that, like, yes, the goal of the Night's Watch is to go out and maybe find stuff, but they were very influenced by Ghost and the Raven.
Okay.
So earlier in the book, and earlier in this book, the Raven has both echoed old and strong to Mormont.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I'm like Mormont's like, I'm old, I'm strong. Says old, strong. They get here, he says old, strong. So there's like this hint that like the Raven is influencing Mormont to stay at the Fist of the First Men. If that's true, then that's how you influence them to stay there. Ghost pretty much brought the whole ranging out to begin with, right? By finding the bodies.
Finding the hand. Yeah.
Yeah. If you don't find the bodies, they don't never have a ranging, right? So Ghost makes the ranging happen. Again, some of these things are a stretch.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of them are coincidences that you're like, oh, that's a coincidence. That's a coincidence. That's a coincidence. But when there's so many coincidences, it's like, okay, some of those are probably true. There's too many for them to all be just
causation instead of coincidence.
Potentially. Again, this is kind of what the theory says. I'll post them. It's like 5 videos, but I think this is the gist of it. Ghost causes a lot of stuff. The Raven causes a lot of stuff. Ghost causes the ranging happen. The Raven chooses where the ranging goes to, right? Even when they're at Craster's Keep, Ghost shows interest in Gilly, right? How does Gilly get involved with John and Sam to begin with? Ghost is like eating her chicken, but even after he's eating her chicken, he's like sniffing after her.
Rabbit.
Like, why is he rabbit? Why is he sniffing after her though?
Yeah.
Right, there's still interest because they're like, Lami's like, oh, he's gonna eat that thing
She
inside
smells
your
good.
belly.
Smells good.
He tells her he's gonna eat the thing inside her belly. But what if somebody's warging him and they're like, okay, we need to get John influenced with Gilly? Because the only reason Gilly comes to talk to John is because she says, you're a king's brother.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So in that conversation, Rast, they call him Lord Snow or whatever, and it comes out that he's a king's brother. And she's like, you're a king's brother, kings protect the weak. Will you help me? Right? If that interaction doesn't happen, Gilly doesn't come to John. So Ghost causes that to happen too. So like when you're seeing all these things that like Ghost had an instrument in like hand in causing, he goes to the reason
I'm not fighting
John
here.
and Sam. I'm just throwing more out. John, because again, I think a lot of these could be coincidences, but I think the power of the theory is in that there's so many. Some of these seem to be that they have to be true.
Yeah.
And then here, the one that definitely can't be a coincidence. Go literally just walks John right up to his dragon glass. Ghost gave John dragonglass.
Yeah, I should.
So is that Blood Raven? So the other thing is the one thing that you guys know that I've really been liking on this read through is all the Children of the Forest
Leaf, all the leaf
stuff.
bark shit.
Leaf, bark, root, rock.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. I don't know if it's all Children of the Forest stuff, but there's a ton of just like forest personification here, where like things in the forest have like human attributes, and I wrote them all down. Right, I'm just gonna read through a bunch of cool quotes. The trees stood beneath him, warriors armored in bark and leaf. First off,
bark and leaf, we know her too. Yeah.
Deployed in their silent ranks, awaiting the command to storm the hill. Black they seemed, and it was only when the torchlit brushed against them that John glimpsed a flash of green. So is that a flash? Like he says, I see a flash of white going through the bush.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a flash of green, meaning I only see the trees when the torch hits it, or is there a fucking Children of the Forest running through the trees? Faintly, he heard the sound of water flowing over the rocks. Ghost vanished in the underbush. John struggled after him, listening to the call. To the call of the brook, to the leaves sighing in the wind, branches clutched at his cloak, while overhead thick limbs twisted together and shut out the stars. Ghost, no, stay, he shouted, but the wolf paid no heed. The lean white shape was swallowed by the dark. The thick roots seemed to grab at his feet, but the night wind was swirling amongst the trees and it drank the words. There's like a bunch of personification of like the forest and that kind of stuff. And then like the bark and leaf.
Well, we kind of know that the North Forest is alive. Like it's more alive because of the Weirwoods and Blood Raven than.
I'm being direct. I'm saying Children of the Forest put this fucking shit right down for John.
So you think the Children of the
Took the cloak from fucking.
I thought it was Ben.
Cold
I thought
Hands.
Benjen did it.
Benjen Cold Hands has his cloak, doesn't he?
I don't remember.
I think
Well,
that's how
you
John
said
did
it's
it.
not even confirmed that it is Benjen.
Correct.
So
I think George might have even said it's not Benjen.
So I don't know. I have no clue.
I think this is more related to the Children of the Forest than Benjen, and the question isn't how the fuck did Benjen put this here? Why did Benjen put this here? And the question is how did the Children of the Forest get a Night's Watch cloak?
Right.
And
I
if
would
the
say
answer is
yeah.
if the answer is they killed Benjen, that's a way more logical thing than
Or they created cold hands.
Benjen's cold hand. Benjen got created, turned into cold hands, went over to their side, and then it just makes more sense that cold hands was somebody else that's been around for a while helping. I don't know. I don't hope that Benjen's dead, but I don't know. I feel
if
that'd be better.
Benjen's not cold hands and Benjen's just been around for years.
Did fucking Uther and Jafar Flowers, the two guys who came back to life in the castle, did they have their cloaks with them?
I don't know.
Maybe they got killed. One of their cloaks got stolen and wrapped up here.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
For sure.
How many people did Benjen ride out with? Was it just those two and him? Is there another guy missing? Like, could Benjen still be alive? I think this is Children of the Forest, and the question is where the cloak come from, not how the fuck did Benjen
if
do
it's the
this?
Children of the Forest and it's like, all right, well, they just killed a Night's Watchman. Maybe they just found one. You know, like
but it's a
it
fresh
could be a whole
cloak.
lot
It's
of
not,
answers to how they.
deteriorated, though.
Yeah, it's fresh, which is why I don't think it could be like an
We're talking about
old
a magical creature finding a cloak. You don't think they could fucking keep it in good condition if they might have stole this years ago and it was like in their in the Children of Forest closet.
Bloodraven was a nice member of the Night's Watch, but the thing is that's borderline. He's like 100 years old. It's been 40 years probably since he deserted. Maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more, but like.
Yeah.
Can you keep?
There's a lot of magic going on.
Years?
There's a lot of magic going on, especially the Children of the Forest. So the last thing that's going to keep me up at night is how this cloak didn't deteriorate.
I just think that it's definitely. I think it's more of a Children of the Forest Bloodraven thing. And when you know that, so here's the question then: if they did this, Bloodraven, Children of the Forest put this here, why? Right? And then when you start asking yourself why, I think it kind of expands into some of the other stuff I was saying. Like, is it all part of somebody's plan where they want them to get this, but what's the point of them getting this if nobody knows anything about it? Well, then you got to put them somewhere where they can learn something about it. How do you do that? What are they after? They're after this baby. Sam steals the baby. Again, I don't know if you can cause all of that.
Sam takes the baby and he goes to the place where he can read any book about Dragonglass.
I mean, when he's at that place where the baby is, there's a ton of fucking ravens there, right? Like a fuck ton of ravens, I think. Maybe that might be a different spot.
When he first uses, you're saying when he uses the Dragonglass is when they find out.
There's a shit ton of ravens there, right? Like, who's watching through ravens, right? Oh shit! My plan finally worked. They're figuring out why this happened. Time traveling brand. So also, Sam plays another huge role right after all this happens. he gets to the wall at a very precise location at a very precise time.
At the tree passage.
Like the day Bran needs the door open, like Sam and Bran meet at like the perfect timing.
Yeah.
Is that just a coincidence, or was somebody planning that? Again,
There's no coincidence. It's getting to the part where I don't want it to be, where there's just three people controlling everything.
The thing is, Sam literally is dropped off at that door.
Yeah, no, I know.
By cold hands.
Which is what I'm saying. It's going to be, at the end of this thing, it's going to be Bloodraven, time traveling Bran, and the fucking maesters of the Citadel.
There's an interesting question. Is it actually time traveling Bran doing all this instead of, is time traveling Bran the one that Cold Hands is on the side of and not the Three-Eyed Raven?
Well, the Three-Eyed Raven is Bran. Bloodraven and Three-Eyed Raven are two different people. It's Three-Eyed Crow.
No. Three-Eyed Crow. Whatever. There's no Three-Eyed Raven in the books, right?
It's Three-Eyed Crow, isn't it?
All right. Let's change. Can we change topics? No, that was a big one.
All right. Off of that, Nelson, you talking about ghosts being warged. So comparatively, I believe Jon's connection to Ghost is way weaker than any of the Starks compared to their wolves. Like, Jon told Ghost to stay, and he didn't listen. Is it because other people were warging him, so Jon doesn't have that strong warg connection yet?
That might be it. There's like so much influence from Bloodraven directly on Ghost. Because like, even though if Bloodraven is messing with Bran, it doesn't seem like he's actually having to mess with Summer to do that. Like, Summer doesn't seem to be influencing Bran too much. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, Bran loves Summer and he likes him. But like, he's not doing anything that's changing plots. Like, he's not finding dead bodies outside of Winterfell. I mean, he saved Bran's life, but like...
But that's just the
connection. I like that point.
I feel like he does a decent amount, but...
Even Arya...
I think...
like, has connection to Nymeria, and they're miles apart.
So one thing I was thinking about, because I read that I was reading a little bit of the next chapter, which is Bran, and Jojen's talking about how like wargs are people who can connect to wolves. Skin changers can connect to animals, and some really powerful skin changers can connect to multiple animals.
Mhm.
Arya skin changes into cats in Bravos.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So she's like, I mean, Bran skin changed into Hodor, which is like another animal and probably more complicated than cats. But I think that's fucking. Arya doesn't know shit about what she can do, and she's already skin changing into different animals, not only Nymeria. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
Like while she's awake too, and able to act on it. So I think Arya, when we're talking about powerfulness of wargs, Arya and Bran definitely have Jon beat. Sansa, I don't think so.
Well, that's just
But
'cause
based
they're
on like what
dogs.
we heard at Ox, yeah, her dog's dead. Based on what we heard at Oxcross, I would say Rob's probably above him too. So yeah, I agree with you. I think John's probably one of the weakers, and I think that part of it is that Ghost sleeps with him at night. Bran and Rickon are locked away from Summer, so when they dream, they can go into their wolves. John says most of the time Ghost sleeps with him.
Glow. Stop
So he
calling
can't do that.
Ghost Glow.
I sleep
It's
with,
like the
That's-
third
that's-
I
time
sleep
he's
with
done
them
that.
all the time.
I want to keep on the Ghost deal. Just to call back to the last chapter, Ghost showed up out of nowhere, silent, and he's referred to as pale as the morning mist.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What was that? The cat said that old Nan said that the morning mist was
Like Ghost
shadows going back to their graves.
or ghosts running back to their graves. Yeah.
Yeah. Spirits going back to
Spirits,
their
yeah.
graves, something like that.
So I thought that was an interesting callback to the last chapter, and to kind of how just Ghost's name. Ghost is Ghost, being referred to as Morning
actual
Mist. All right, I want to get two Old Bear weird deals. I don't know if there's anything to them. One, Old Bear old. Like, why mention the Old Bear's old? Is it because he's going to die on the way back?
I'm telling you, it's because the Raven was influencing him to stop here.
Yeah. How does the Old Bear die in
He's
this?
stabbed by a mutiny.
Yeah, same deal. Like, does he fight back like hard? Does he know his time's up and he's just kind of like, so it's very outside the box. I have no proof behind it. Is he like, fuck it, like, let me just like let Jon take over now, like I'll die on this hill and it'll spark the new.
I think he's dead before he gets any thought.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's Samwell Tarly's point of view at that point, and he doesn't even see the death happen. I don't think.
Gotcha. All right, and there's another one. Why no lemon in the hot wine? Like Lemon Gate.
I don't know if there's anything to
It's
it.
Lemon
He likes
Gate.
the lemon in his beer.
It's Lemon Gate though.
Lemongate.
I will say this is the first time the Raven ever says dead.
Yeah,
time
that's
ever
my
saying
last one.
dead.
Is him just going nuts and going nuts saying dead too. Benja's ass is dead.
And he's never said dead before.
Motherfucking dead. What if Benjen is leading the others now?
The dude that refuses the wine, is he a part of the mutiny?
Arthur Withers? I don't think so. Not sure.
He's the only
I
one
don't
that
even know
I
that guy
noted
name.
that refused the wine.
More of a beer guy.
John makes note about the ravens being in cages.
Yeah.
Calling his name.
No, well, that's weird, but he says, yeah, you would hate it too if you're locked in a cage and couldn't fly. It's like a two-parter, like Bran's
Bran.
kind of locked in a cage right now, not able to fly, and then John also is kind of locked in a cage, not able to fly because he has
Till
no
he's a
warning
wildling.
powers. What?
And till he becomes a wildling and he has a little bit of freedom, can smell some egret vagines.
Poontang, and that's when he gets a little bit more in touch
That's
with
when he
his
starts
word
real
powers.
flying.
So that was just my comment there. See, get a John chapter, and I have a bunch of notes, boys.
You just get fired up for Johnny.
There you go. I like it. All right. Well, I like this chapter. I think it's pretty sick.
Good
I'll
chapter.
post those.
I mean,
Preston
it's not like a
Jacobs
sick
links
chapter,
in
but
the-
it's an okay chapter.
it sets up a lot of stuff. I mean, a lot of stuff that doesn't get resolved until Storm of Swords. If you think about what anything means, and just being like, oh, that was an 80 found dragon glass. Wonder who did that. Oh, I don't care. If you think about it for a second, then it's definitely cool.
Well, I thought
There's not a lot of people
I
on our
originally thought it
podcast
was
that like to
Benjen.
use their brains.
That's not true. I have a big
Yeah,
brain.
you got me thinking
Uh,
now it's Children of the Forest and not Benjamin. but
I'm
I
on
think
the Chosen
Benjamin's
Forest.
either
I didn't
dead
think
or
too much
undead.
into who left it there. So
Gotta look into motive. But yeah, some of those chapters have the big mysteries. Some of the stuff, especially the mysteries that we still don't know, are the ones that I get fired up about. Like we don't know
yeah,
really
What
shit
is-
about this.
who-
Some of it
what is
gets
Benjen? Where is Benjen? Who's Cold Hands? Who left the deal?
The
what's
thing is,
the-
this
what's
dragon
the
glass
whole
isn't
plan?
useful at all until next book. Literally,
Yeah.
like John just goes off into the Frostfangs with Corn. So the last note I had was when they were talking about like John being too lazy to climb a hill. he literally, when he starts going off a core and he climbs the mountain with, what's his name? Rock Snake or something. Scale Snake, whatever his name is. One of Corrin's men who's really good at climbing. He climbs the mountain with him, and then John climbs the wall.
Yeah.
So Thorin Smallwood's giving John a hard time about climbing the hill. John becomes
The best
big
climber
time climber.
The ultimate choir.
with a
climber.
fucking burned hand.
Yeah, exactly. So that's all I have for this one. We'll see you guys next time in Brand 5, which I'm sure is going to have a lot of spoiler stuff because it's all about Warg's skin changer, probably a lot of some same stuff we were just talking about. We'll see you guys then.
Sounds good,
See ya.
brothers.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now. Winter is coming.